Thanks for staying with us. Let's continue here. The South African Human Rights Commission has openly stated its opposition to the delay in the reopening of schools from January 27th to February the 15th. It said there has been no evidence to suggest that schools have played a significant role in the spreading of the coronavirus or that they will do so in future. Joining us now to discuss its position is South African Human Rights Commissioner Andre Gom. Mr. Gom, a pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. Well, as the South African Human Rights Commission, you've voiced your opposition to the delayed restart of schools. Just explain to us your position on this matter.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Yes, let me maybe start by saying that the South African Human Rights Commission shares the concerns of government pertaining to the health and safety of teachers, learners, and staff at schools. Obviously, these COVID-19 decisions are difficult decisions to make. It is constantly a balancing of rights that need to take place here. In this case, the right to a basic education and the best interests of the child that is paramount in terms of our constitution, that has to be balanced with the right to health. But it appears to us that the government got it wrong as far as this balancing of rights is concerned. Evidence does not suggest that schools are major spreaders of the virus, and schools have actually proved to be safe spaces when the health and safety protocols are indeed adhered to. It is also difficult to understand the purpose of this two-week delay in view of the fact that the peak will only be reached in many of the provinces in the north, including Gauteng, after the two-week period has transpired. And we have the winter months also approaching from March onwards. And what is the position going to be then? If we have more outbreaks, are we going to see school closures throughout the year? Are we going to have another very disruptive school year that is to the detriment of children and not to their benefit? And therefore, we believe it would have been much better and much more sensible if government ensured, also the education departments in the provinces, that the health and safety protocols are in place in all our schools, that teachers with comorbidities are protected in the sense that interim replacements are put in their places to replace them and to assist them in the meantime. Also that teachers are prioritized for vaccination purposes, and that government is making a very specific plan to make sure that teachers get the vaccine as soon as possible. And then, as happened last year as well, children attended schools on alternate days, which then made it possible that we didn't see overcrowding and so on take place. So this approach would have ensured the safe return of teachers, learners, as well as support staff, whilst at the same time upholding the right to a basic education, and the best interests of children would have been served. And it's for these reasons that we think that there were indeed less restrictive means to achieve the very same purpose of making sure that learners, teachers, and support staff are safe.
So you've explained the recommendations that you have provided and the strategy that would ensure that learners can continue with the academic year in a safe environment. But have you consulted the education authorities on your concerns and also your recommendations?
Yes, we've requested a meeting with the education department. Unfortunately, this announcement happened before that meeting could take place, or before they could make time for such a meeting, and therefore now we do, in fact, intend to request a meeting with the minister. If the minister is not available and still ill, then with the deputy minister and the director general, to try and understand where government is going and what the position is going to be in 2 weeks' time, whether there is a consideration to delay the reopening of schools even further, because then it does appear that we are really limiting the right to a basic education of learners and the best interests of the children, to an extent that becomes unacceptable.
Now, as the South African Human Rights Commission, you've previously performed independent monitoring of schools for readiness across the country. Have you done that this time around?
We will soon start our monitoring process. We also heard from unions and so on that much of the preparations have been done towards the end of last year. So very soon we intend to start our own monitoring process. We have a new monitoring template concentrating on the issues at hand at the moment, including COVID, but also related matters. One of the issues that is of concern to us is that the research and evidence suggests that only a limited number of learners who receive a meal at school and who qualifies for that are able to do so when schools are closed. So that would also be one of the issues that we would be looking at. But yes, we will have a very extensive monitoring exercise taking place once again in terms of readiness in a number of areas.
Now, in recent times, we've also seen the marking of matric papers comments and concerns also being raised about the safety of teachers or those who are marking, and unions expressing their own concerns, saying that government must ensure that their staff are working in a safe environment. Have you noted any concerns on that front?
Yes, well, it appears that apart from teachers here and there and who had to withdraw and then be replaced with other teachers uh, uh, taking part in the marking process. It appears that this is maybe an area where we can actually congratulate the department that things went quite well and that the marking process hasn't been interrupted to an extent that it was chaotic or whatever the case may be.
Right, then that's Andre Gam, the South African Human Rights Commissioner. Let's